part 2 of our Black History Month celebration. Yes, thank you all for coming. You are the chosen, the few, part of the many. Now, I have a question for you guys. What is gold? What is gold?
A precious metal.
What's gold? G-O-L-D, gold. What is gold?
It's a metal.
It's the metal.
It's precious.
And what does it symbolize? What does gold symbolize?
Wealth.
Yes, wealth. Now, you guys heard of the age of the dinosaurs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the age of the Renaissance age, back in, what country was that? France? Europe?
I was going to say Europe.
Now, I want you guys to tell me what you think a golden age in this civilization would be like.
Heaven.
Heaven? All right, heaven. Like, give me some more detail. What would happen if we were in the golden age right now? How would it be like? What would it be like?
Everybody would be wealthy, wouldn't they, if it was golden?
All right.
Prosperity. Yeah.
Everybody be wealthy. There's prosperity. Less violence. I like less violence. Yeah, seriously. Especially if it's not happening. Yeah. Okay, now, what else? What else symbolizes the golden age? What about you? You look smart. What do you think would be in a golden age? All right, I'll come back to you. You, sir. What about you?
Just overall, the mood, everybody would be pleasant and try to help each other.
Everybody be pleasant, try to help each other. I dig that. So there's wealth, there's prosperity. People, they're pleasant, they help each other. There's, give me one more thing. You, sir.
You don't have to go to work.
Oh, wow.
I like that.
Thanks. I can see that. Now check it out. I was sitting down one day and I was just thinking to myself. I'm sitting down and I'm like, you know, man, this kind of sucks. I'm sitting down, I had like maybe $5 in my pocket, if that much. And I'm thinking to myself, I want to do something. I want to write a book. How am I going to write a book? I've never written a book before. Well, not a book that I actually published. So I sat back and I started thinking, how am I going to write a book? Who do I need to get permission from? So on and so forth. And I thought, nobody really. I just write it myself. So I wrote it. And then I'm like, how do I copyright it? And when you're dealing with government things, who do you contact?
Government.
Bingo, the government. So I called the government. I'm like, yo, Gov, what's up? Question, I want to copyright my book. How do I do it? And they said, all I have to do is submit a copyright form, pay $30, and boom, it's copywritten. And I'm like, are you serious? That's it? So I copyright my book. Next, I wanted to print it. So what would you guys do if you wanted to print your book? The copier? You type it up on the computer, then you go to like a Kinko's or something like that. I did that. It was kind of expensive. So next, I looked on the internet and I found a vanity press. A vanity press will print your books just like that for a pretty cheap price. So next thing you know, I've got my book copywritten, I've got to print it, I even have some copies in the library. Look me up, Joshua Peoples. I rock, I know.
We used to have a copy.
I did that, and I'm thinking, all right, I did that. What else do I want to do? I started thinking to myself, what did I always want to be when I was a kid? A genetic engineer, a great genetic engineer. And I'm actually on that path now. I sat back and I'm like, what do I do? A friend said, try going to college. I'm like, okay, I'll give it a shot. So I go to college. My major is biology, right? And I'm like, I want to do this. So I'm like, how do I get in a genetics lab? I find some, I send out my application, I send a bunch of them out, and I got no response. You know, they didn't hit me back. So I contacted somebody in the lab at school, and I'm like, yo, hey, I want to work in here. And they're like, I'm like, hey, I want to work in here. And they're like, hey, I want to work in here. And they're like, wicked, man. All right, come on in. I sat down with the professor. We talked. Next thing you know, I'm working in a real-life genetic engineering lab at CSU.
Wow.
All right? Now check it out. Anybody correct me if I'm wrong. Feel free to stand up and interject. I think that a golden age will be an age where if you have a dream or there's something that you want to do, it's actually fairly easy for you to do it. It might seem challenging to us now because we're so laissez-faire about everything we already have. But compared to maybe 50, 70 years ago, printing my own book would have been like really expensive. And I don't even know if that would have like happened. I would have had to go to like a publisher and go their route. Working in a genetics lab, maybe, possibly, that would have been way more challenging. I think that right now, we are in the golden age. And if we take the self-responsibility to look at what we want to do and make it happen, and sit back and think for a second, turn off the telly, turn off the GameCube, turn off the PS3s, even though they totally rock, and just think about what we want to do, we can actually do it. And this age is open up to anybody that really wants to make it happen. It doesn't matter if you're black, if you're white, if you're Chinese, whatever you really want to do, you can make it happen. And I think that's what a golden age is. And that's why I think we're in that age right now. And lastly, my awesome students are about to present for you some people that have inspired them in their lives.
All right.
We have for you first, Mr. Isaiah Tuckers.
All right.
Well, I'm Isaiah, freshman in high school, and the people that inspire me would be, I got a few, but one of them is Obama. Like, he had a rough childhood, you know, everybody, well, most people do, you know. And after all these things that has happened to him, now he's the president of the United States. So it shows that anybody, no race, no, it doesn't matter, gender, whatever you want to be, you could be anything.
Coming up next, we have Miss Talia Gaynor.
You could use that mic right there if you want to speak in it. Or come around, yeah, right there.
Well, hi.
Hi.
I'm in 7th grade at Horizon Science Academy. As you can see, I'm still wearing my uniform. The person that inspires me is Michael Jackson because he is like, personally, I love him because he is such a great entertainer. And he also inspires me because of his childhood. He had such a rough childhood, and it's just like wild how he came to be such like a great singer and dancer and choreographer. And that's the person that inspires me.
Next we have D'Angelo Baymore.
Hello, my name is D'Angelo Baymore, and I go to Horizon Science Academy, and I'm 12 years old. And well, what I did was I researched about Harriet Tubman, which was a black African American that helped slaves escape from like people, like white people trying to kidnap them and stuff. And they went to the Underground Railroad to escape. And so that was it.
Next we have another student from Horizon Science Academy, Miss Brianna Wells.
The person that I'm inspired by is Rosa Parks because she gave us freedom and from like our bus rights because like the African Americans, we could still be sitting in the back of the bus and I was equal, so that's what I would say.
All right.
Next we have for you Miss Taylor Gray.
Really haven't thought of anything, but a person that comes to mind is no. Guess Martin Luther King. Well, he inspires me because he didn't have the idea that that black people, and not just black people, any race people that were treated bad should be treated equally. He thought instead of using a knife or a gun or anything that could harm somebody, he could use knowledge and he could use words to tell somebody and try to make it equally like that. And I just think that's really incredible. Yeah.
Next, coming up to the podium, we have Miss Naya Gilbert.
The person that inspires me is Gary Morgan, because without him we will be getting in accidents, and driving wouldn't really be an option, because then it would be more people dying because of the accidents, and we have better transportation because of that. Because without the traffic light, people wouldn't think about really cars, driving, or anything.
And next we also have for you, Jeremiah Owens. Mr. Jeremiah Owens.
Everybody talking about this Justin Bieber thing and stuff. Everybody talking about this Justin Bieber stuff. The person I want to be is a singer just like him. Sing like him and stuff. And the person I want to really be is a robotic. Fix robots and all that stuff. And I think words, I hate reading, but when I read, my brain gets stronger.
All right.
And then I'll be smarter.
All right.
And then you have a black, smart American.
All
All
right.
right.
All right.
Before we end this smashing presentation today, I want to tell y'all a little bit about myself. Now, y'all might look at me and say, wow, he is totally awesome. Like, he's just the stuff. I wasn't always this way.
Y'all can come have a seat now.
You come have a seat.
You guys can sit down. I grew up here in Cleveland. I was born to my mom. That makes sense. My dad, he left when I was like, I don't know, 3, if not before that. I grew up going to Case Elementary. I'm sure some of you guys know that. And they actually tried to say that I was, how do you say? Weird? No, Taylor, not weird. They tried to say that I was behaviorally challenged and wanted to put me into the special ed program. And my mom's like, no, dude, he just doesn't like what you're doing. So she took me out of school and she homeschooled me, which was actually one of the greatest experiences of my life. Because when I was homeschooled, I didn't have to worry about being picked on or being bullied or having to, basically fight people. I had my own little home, my own little positive environment. Though it gets kind of lonely when you're like being homeschooled. So I went back to school. And it was pretty awesome. Until the fights happened again. Because sometimes when you're a bit different, people want to pick on you. And if you're like me, you don't like getting picked on. And you fight back. Though I don't recommend fighting back physically. I recommend calling the police and getting parents involved at your age. No. I did high school. I did that for a few years. And I left. I signed out. I'm like, you know what? This isn't good for me anymore. And I got my GED. Now, after that, I said, you know, I don't want to go to college. I really don't want to go to college. I'm like, why? I can just do what I want without going. And I wrote a book, The Poster Boy, the one I was telling you guys about earlier. And I always wanted to go to Japan. See, my mom, my family always encouraged me to be whatever it is I wanted to be. They're like, you want to do something? You want to go to Japan? Do it. You want to be a great genetic engineer? Do it. You want to do something? Do it. Just don't sit there and talk about it, or we'll laugh at you. And which some of them did, thank you, Talia. And I met a friend of mine who showed me that college could be a pretty interesting place. So I applied to CASE, the best of the best of the best. And they're like, your transcripts are not the best. No. So I went to Tri-C. I went to Tri-C, then I graduated. And then I applied again to CASE. And they're like, you still need to do better. So the next thing you know, I'm at CSU, a junior, 3rd year. And then I got a chance to work in a genetics lab. Not because they were just offering it. I got the chance because I was determined to get it. And I kept asking again and again, looking for some route to get there. I talked to my teacher, I talked to professors, I talked to anybody that could assist me in getting what I wanted. Now this is important for you guys. If there's something that you want in this life, don't just sit there like this and expect your mom to bring it to you like dinner. Don't just sit there and expect the world to just hand you what you want. You have to be willing to get up and go for it. And that's what our ancestors died for us to have the opportunity to be as great as we can be. So don't worry if people laugh at you because you make mistakes. Don't worry if it seems hard or challenging. Because I'd rather live a life going for what I want than live a life in mediocrity. And that's it. So thank you all for coming today. We hope you enjoyed the presentation and live a good life.